I'm Barbara Smith, horticulturist at the Home and Garden Information Center at Clemson University. Today I have the pleasure of being with Dr. David Wortham at Tim's Mill, which is located about 12 miles outside of Pendleton. Dr. Wortham is a physician in Anderson, and how on earth did you become interested in restoring an old mill like this?
Well, Barbara, it has to do with the land. And my wife and I were introduced to this property in 2001, and we just fell in love with the property. It just happened to have an old grist mill on it. And we did some research for about a year and found out how rare it was to find a grist mill still standing. And after that, we felt the call to restore it. It took about 2 years of restoration work, which was done with mainly volunteer labor. Every time we ran into a problem, a person would come in who had some expertise or would get us in touch with a person with expertise. Everything that was done within a 30-mile radius of us here, which was a real blessing.
Thank you again for having us here today. I'm certainly glad you're part of this community where I also live. I would love to see how the mill operates, but first I would like to hear some of the history of the mill from your son Andrew.
Glad to have you here.
Andrew, I understand that you're graduating from Clemson in May. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I love my major in biological sciences. It's been a great journey.
Good. Your parents tell me that you are quite the historian about the mill. Would you please tell us some of the history?
Absolutely. Tim's Mill was established in 1784 by Mr. Isaac Timms, about a mile up the creek. And it ran under water power and was moved to this location until 1898 and continued to operate until about 1960 when the dam that they used to hold back water broke. And they had to operate it under electricity for a few years and then just abandoned it until my parents bought the mill in 2001 and began the restoration process until 2004.
Thank you so much for sharing the history with us. Now I think it's time to go see how the mill actually operates.
Sounds great.
David, I've certainly enjoyed learning about the history of the mill, but I'm very curious to know exactly how you make the grits and the cornmeal. So would you please explain the process to me?
Well, Barbara, we start with a dent corn, which is used for grinding. It has a harder husk. And we take the corn and put it into a grinding machine called a metter's mill, which is stone ground. And that process is powered by the water wheel you see behind us. This water wheel is a 14-foot water wheel, and we use about 700 gallons a minute to get about 11 horsepower. Now once the product is ground, you get both grits and cornmeal when you grind. And so you have to use a separator to separate out the grits from the cornmeal from the chaff. And then after that's done, then we package it and then we distribute it.
When you're using the dent corn, I assume that there is a white variety of the dent corn and a yellow variety of the dent corn to make both the white and yellow grits and cornmeal.
That's correct. We have white corn and yellow corn, and then we have white grits and yellow grits as well.
Thank you so much for having us here today. I've learned a lot about how the grits and the cornmeal are processed and made. Would you please tell us how we can find out more information about Tim's Mill?
Well, if you like us on Facebook, you can keep up with our events. We post our events there, and we have a web page at timsmill.com. So thank you for being here today, Barbara, and we've really enjoyed having you.
It has been an absolute joy. Thank you.